Wellness Wednesday. We are live inside the Facebook group, Brain Wellness and Dementia Prevention. And I am here with my dear friend, beautiful inside and out, Kamini Mamdani.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be with you, Laurel. It's been a journey that we've had together for over 25 years. And I'm so happy that I got to meet you in my 20s. And here we are in me in my 50s and you in your 40s, and we're still going strong.
Still going strong. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. So Kamini mentioned that we met each other in grad school and at Texas Women's University, and we became pretty fast friends and then really good study partners.
Yes.
Some of my favorite parts about studying, we're going to talk about tonight, was you would make chai for us to stay awake and stay invigorated. And like when you started back with your chai so that I could have it in my own kitchen, even though we're far apart, I was so excited. So this is my new morning ritual.
Yay.
So I'm going to read your bio. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So Kamini was born in Johannesburg, South Africa before moving to Texas, and was an educator with the Dallas Independent School District before pursuing a 20-year career as an occupational therapist serving children and seniors. She is currently the founder of chai.com, an online retail chai shop. She graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree from Southern Methodist University and a Master's of Occupational Therapy from Texas Women's University. Kamini currently serves on the board of trustees of Green Hill School, co-chairs the Green Hill Fund, and serves on the Parent Council for Equity and Inclusion. She also serves on the board of Family Gateway, a shelter for families experiencing homelessness, where she co-chairs the Community Engagement Committee. She is a member of the Orchid Giving Circle, a philanthropic group dedicated to serving the Asian American community in North Texas. She was a founding member of SAVE, South Asian Americans for Empowerment, dedicated to advancing the political voice of South Asians. And Kamini and her husband Malik are parents to 3 kids and a pup, and love exploring the world as a family. And I enjoy exploring the world through the beautiful pictures that you post.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. This is so exciting.
I know. Well, I love spending time with you, and it's been so long that we've actually physically been together. So I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Almost as good as getting a real hug, but soon.
Same.
So we're going to jump right in. If you can share with us the journey that brought you to where you are today as the founder of chai.com. So we know, a little bit of your educational background, wherever you want to go with this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you did mention that we were in occupational therapy school together, and that's actually when I launched chai.com, was in 1997, in our second year of grad school. And at that point, the internet was just sort of in its birthing moment, and online businesses were also just launching at that time, which is why I was able to get chai.com as a URL. But more importantly, chai was being introduced to the United States in an Americanized form called chai tea. And it was formulated as a liquid concentrate that was heavily sugared. And it was sort of antithesis to the way that we prepare chai at home and that we've been doing for generations. And so I looked at my mom back in 1997 and I said, Mom, we've got to introduce the real thing that we drink and enjoy every single day. And so we launched it out of her kitchen, and we would grind all the spices separately and then blend it all together with, and then serve it with tea leaves. And we sold it around the world to people who are looking for an authentic chai experience. And so we ran that for about 10 years. And then I took a pause from it for family and professional reasons. And during the pandemic, I was rethinking my role as an occupational therapist and was ready to kind of pivot from that, like everyone else was pivoting, and decided to relaunch chai.com. And so spent about 18 months thinking about how to make an authentic, organic, healthy product that was more accessible to more people. And so I reformulated it to simplify the process and rebranded it and launched it in November.
Yay. Can I show it?
Yes.
It just makes me happy. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
So easy now. I mean,
Yes.
it wasn't that hard before when
No, it
you
was.
boil the tea leaves, but now that the tea is more, it's dissolvable. It's just so easy. Just 2 scoops in with some milk.
Yes.
Delicious. We'll talk about how you prepare it and kind of the benefit of taking time to pause and prepare something. So
absolutely.
Can we back up a tiny bit and just share like what occupational therapy is? Because I like to share occupational therapy with the world. And so since you were an OT, you are an OT, occupational therapist, our Professor Dr. Schultz would want us to say the whole word.
That's right.
More than 2 letters, she said. Occupational therapy. Can you share what occupational therapy is, what attracted you to the field, and kind of how that is connected to your current trajectory with chai.com?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that I was drawn to occupational therapy when I was teaching. So as an educator, I saw, as a public school educator, there were a lot of challenges for students who were not mainstream students and who needed more guidance and who needed people who were able to acknowledge their differences and help them acclimate to whatever setting they were in. And so after working in the school district for a while, I decided to pursue occupational therapy, which to me, the way that I define occupational therapy is helping people reach their potential, regardless of where they are in their lives, and to live purposeful, meaningful lives.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So in the 20 years that I've been practicing with children, and then the entire spectrum to adults in their sort of end of life stages, occupational therapists, I believe, meet people where they are, and find small moments and small things that bring purpose and meaning to their lives, things that we may sort of take for granted if we are able to ambulate or we're able to sit at a table and eat food without even thinking about it. Occupational therapists, to me, we sort of analyze the minute details that require you to be able to function and to perform at your capacity. And so that deliberate step-by-step analysis of what somebody does, to me, is very important. And I think that what that enables us to do is to sort of meditate on the things, the smaller things in our lives that add up to the big things in our lives, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And I think occupational therapists, have the ability to do that.
Right. Yeah. I just saw a recent video, an occupational therapy group of students created something called a hugger for someone who had a stroke and didn't have use of one hand, one arm. And he said the thing that he missed most was being able to hug. So they made a strap that went around his wrist, and it had just a band, basically. But then he could use his functioning arm to help his non-functioning arm bring his grandkids in and then pull them tight.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
that's so beautiful.
Things that are so meaningful. And
yes.
So chai might seem unrelated, but it isn't. Like I'll let you go with it, but I can see in my own head how kind of the trajectory, I'm struggling with that word, how you got there from kind of the passion that you felt for occupational therapy, and now the passion that you feel for sharing this experience of chai with the world. Like, so glad that you are on this journey.
Thank you. You know, I think so. I put my chai business on hold for about 12 years to focus on my family and therapy. And then the pandemic hit, right? And it changed everything for everybody. And I was hesitant. So for the 12 years, my husband kept saying, "You think you're ready to start chai.com again?" And I would say, "Nope, I'm not ready. I'm not ready." And I think what happened during the pandemic was we all took pause, right? So we all hit the brakes on everything that was happening in our lives. And one other thing, you know, I'm very fortunate. I have a house and hearth and everything that I need. My family has been healthy through the whole process. And so I've been extremely fortunate. But you do have a sense that there's been a fundamental shift in everybody. And someone had said this beautifully, and I can't remember where I heard this, but that our daily rhythms have all been altered, right? So a child who, you know, appreciated and needed that sort of that rhythm of being able to wake up, get on the bus, get to school, have a full day at school, come back, and you know that daily rhythm was then disrupted. They weren't able to do the things that they needed to do, that gave them what somebody called the sculpture of their lives. Mm-hmm. Now that was such a beautiful way of saying it, and so we've kind of lost. I kept thinking, well, we've kind of lost that ability, right, to find the things, the patterns in our lives that give us agency in our lives, right? That give us the ability to feel like, okay, I've got some control in a space that feels uncontrollable right now. And so, you know, for me, I make chai every morning for my family, for my husband, and for me. And it's something I do every day. I wake up, go to the kitchen, brew a hot, big pot of chai, and that kind of starts my day. And I was thinking about it and I thought, you know, this is, everyone has a different pattern for how they start their day and what the cadence of their day is. But I'd like to help accentuate that. And I'd like to help people feel as though they're starting their day with something nourishing and something that could potentially be meditative in the way that you prepare your chai, in the way that you share that chai, in the way that you take those moments to just enjoy the chai. So enjoy making it and then enjoy it maybe by yourself or maybe with someone that you care about. And I thought, well, I feel like I'm ready to share that process with people because I think it's a very small thing that could possibly make somebody else feel better. So I am a businesswoman. I am motivated to do well in my business, of course. But to be honestly truthful with you, it's so much more to me than having a successful business.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that this time frame was really gave you the pause and also the push that you needed to restart, because like our structure, our routine, our rituals were completely discombobulated. And I know from my own experience, you know, everybody had to get their own computer in their own room and we were all isolated in our own spaces.
Yeah.
And, you know, just a pot of tea has the potential to bring people together like you said, in a nourishing way. It's something positive. So as we're talking about, the ritual, I'd like to kind of go a little broader and talk about kind of the general health benefits of chai. That there's a lot. So there's like physical wellness, there's emotional wellness, social wellness, potentially spiritual wellness, and you're looking at the environment too. So there's environmental wellness. So if we were going to start with physical, just the benefits of the actual ingredients in the chai, how are they beneficial? Or what's in it? What are the ingredients?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you. So every family kind of has their own recipe for chai in India, or South Asians in the diaspora of the world. And so our recipe comes from Gujarat, India, which is on the west coast, so just a little bit north of Mumbai. And it's a state where my grandparents and my forefathers were born. And just to kind of give you a history, my grandparents then moved to South Africa, took all of their knowledge of and cultural norms with them, and so they landed in South Africa. And one of the interesting things about immigrants moving to other countries is the things that give you comfort are the things that you know from home. And so my grandparents, of course, had nothing when they moved to South Africa, but they had the knowledge of how to find and make home. And so they continued with their customs. And those customs, it's interesting, the diaspora sort of hold on to older customs more than people in the native country. And so South African Indians, for example, are a little bit more old-fashioned than Indians in India might be. They hold on to traditions a lot more. And so it's kind of interesting. So, but what that meant was that we were preparing our spices at home because there wasn't a place to buy it prepared or pre-mixed. And so that was good for us because we then brought those traditions to America when we moved. So we're still making grinding our spices at home, whereas someone from India who moves to the United States now may not be accustomed to doing that because it's so readily available in India. Mm-hmm. So the spices that we use for our family recipe is black peppercorn, cloves, cardamom, nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger. And so all of those are dried ingredients. And then those are all blended together to create the masala. And masala in Gujarati or in Hindi means spices. So, and chai means simply tea. So masala chai means spice tea. And so that is then blended or mixed in with black Assam tea, which is a malty tea that's pretty heavy, like pretty dark, from Assam, India. And that balance of a stronger black tea with the spices, the very aromatic spices together, creates a really nice blend. And sorry, puppy. So anyway, so that's our family recipe. And so all of the ingredients, so on my website, chai.com, I do break down all of the ingredients and talk about the health benefits of each one. And, these are Ayurvedic ingredients. And so they've been studied, they've been used for centuries in India. And so I feel very good about sharing the health benefits about them. It's not something that I think that I'm sort of speculating or making up, but it's something that's been studied for generations and have been used for a long time. And it's, sort of being introduced in the United States, the health benefits are sort of becoming a little better understood, more mainstream. I think more research is being done about the Ayurvedic benefits of different types of spices and botanicals that have been used forever. So each one has, in general, a lot of them are high in antioxidants They are anti-inflammatory. They're good for the gut. They're good for blood circulation, which then helps your heart, which helps brain function. It helps with, it helps with skin. It helps with, they act as a stimulant, so it helps awaken the mind. So there's just a laundry list of things that they do. And one of the nice things is when you blend them together, for example, black pepper helps to enhance the health benefits of other spices. So when you pair them together, they actually become a little bit more potent.
Yeah, I've heard that about black pepper and turmeric as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the benefits. Yeah.
Yeah.
So ginger and cinnamon are some of my favorites, and those have been studied highly in the United States to the point where you can, get just ginger supplements in a pill, cinnamon supplements in a pill, cinnamon to reduce insulin levels, to bring glucose levels down as a natural treatment for diabetes, or to just even out blood sugar. Ginger for decreased nausea and improve digestion. And I mean, it's lots and lots of research on the individual ingredients. No double-blind study on the benefit of chai, but I don't need a double-blind study to know that it's healthy. It feels good.
Yeah.
It's
So one of the things that so I just I was able to do a little pop-up yesterday, and one of the things that I really enjoyed about doing those is I have an opportunity to interact with people who may be introduced to chai for the first time, and what I have them do every time is I have them take a actually scent of the tin, and universally they all have the same reaction, which is they sort of light up when they smell it. And it's because it makes you feel good and you haven't even had it yet, and so I think that there's a lot of, aside from the physical benefits, I think it helps with sort of your emotional wellness too. And that is something that I've been hearing from people who've been using or drinking our chai is how it makes them feel. And so that just, it makes you feel good that you're providing something that people are enjoying, taking time for themselves to enjoy, and making it part of their day. So however chaotic their day might be, however uncertain things might be, you can pause for a few moments and make time for yourself, which I think is something we're all sort of craving.
Yeah. And beyond the physical benefits and moving on to emotional benefits, using ritual as part of your day, particularly first thing in the morning, also I think really supports and nourishes emotional wellness. And the fun thing about it, when we talked about it, is everybody's ritual is different. So what does your morning chai ritual look like? And I'll tell you mine.
Okay. So like I said, so I wake up in the morning and I head straight to the kitchen and I boil my water. So I make 8 cups of chai. So that's 32 ounces. And but between my husband and I, we will sip that throughout the day, or throughout the morning, not the day, throughout the morning. And so I like to make my chai on the stove the old-fashioned way. So I use the blend, our heirloom blend, and I'll boil some water, and then I'll put in the chai, and I'll let it I'll let the spices blend in and mix in with the water and come to a boiling point, and then I will add hot milk and bring it to a boil. And so for those few moments, I'm watching this process, right? So I'm watching the water come to a boil. I'm watching the aroma starting to to open up in the spices, and then I'm letting it boil and then do a second slow boil. And it just kind of launches my day. And then we're sitting and we're enjoying some. But just for those few moments, I'm just focused on that one thing. My daughter, on the other hand, who is an 11th grader, she likes to have a cup of chai sometimes before she heads to school. And for her, her morning is a little bit more harried. And so it is boiling some water, putting a couple of spoons of the chai in, and putting it in her mug, stirring it super fast, getting her milk in, and she's out the door. So, but it is still, for that minute, she is pausing to do something that's going to help her feel better for that morning to start her day. So.
Okay. I can visualize it because I've been in your kitchen, and I know I know the pot and the boil. And so do you still use loose tea, or are you using?
No, I'm using mine. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't use a strainer.
Okay.
But I like the process of putting it on the stove and making it on the stove.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So you want to hear my routine?
Yes.
So I do an intermittent fast. So I don't want to have calories first thing in the morning. So I usually just have hot lemon water and ginger. And
very good.
Later in the morning, like maybe 10 or 11, I start to get a little hungry, and it's time for me to make the chai. And so I use a macadamia nut milk, and I don't do it on the stove. I stick it in the microwave in a
totally fine,
like a big mug, like the biggest mug I can find. I fill it halfway with macadamia nut milk, and I choose macadamia nut milk. Just put this out there in case anyone has done their DNA testing. If you have an ApoE4 gene, you are, it's not recommended to have saturated fat, or not much. So I didn't want to use a whole bunch of coconut milk, or, and I don't have regular dairy at all. And the macadamia nut milk is high polyunsaturated fats. So that's why I've chosen that. So I fill that about halfway. I add 2 scoops of the chai when it comes out, and I stir it up. And I actually have even another ritual, which I haven't shared. So I did some biodynamic training with a farm that I've done, and that I work, that I'm on the board for. And in the biodynamic preparation, you stir clockwise, and then you create chaos and go the other way. And then you stir counterclockwise and you create chaos and go the other way. So that's what I do with my morning chai.
Really?
I'm blending it. Yeah. Just with some stirring.
And then the other way. Okay.
Yeah. And then I add in some either flavored or unflavored collagen.
Awesome.
And then I add in a couple teaspoons of lion's mane, which is good for memory and focus and nerve health.
Fantastic.
Then I blend that all up again. And then I do add a little teaspoon of coconut milk. And if anybody has been frustrated with coconut milk being really real clumpy, I am not being paid by Target right now, but I've tried coconut milk so many different places, and it separates in the can.
Yeah.
And it gets gross. Okay. So Good and Gather at Target, the brand it's so blended and creamy. So I put a creamy spoonful of coconut milk in, and
nice
on it. And it's so wonderful. So I'm loving it. And it's I have a little piece of Kamini with me there.
Well, I love so that's the other thing, is I love that you make it the way it works for you. And that's exactly also one of the things that I wanted to do, because a lot of the chai products you find now in the marketplace are all filled with sugar.
Horrible. So much.
Horrible.
Sugar.
So mine has no sugar. The spices I use are all organic, and the sugar it's so unnecessary to have that much sugar. It totally sort of it kind of messes up the whole purpose of having the chai. Enjoy it with any sweetener you like, but it doesn't need to be syrupy. And so that's the other thing. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a product that had, because you will find products that have not just the sugar, but also milk products in it. And so obviously people have different preferences for the types of milk they use. And so I really wanted to create a product that you could use the way you like. And I love that you put lion's mane in it and that you put collagen in it. And, you know, if you wanted, you could grate some fresh ginger in it. Like there's just so many things that you could do to make it good for you.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up the whole sugar issue, because it's so disappointing when you go somewhere and order a chai and it's ridiculously sweet. It's overkill, and sugar is inflammatory. And if you're trying to optimize your overall health and your brain health in particular, you want to avoid sugar. It's inflammatory. So
that's right. That's right.
It doesn't need it. Sometimes I'll put in a couple drops of like stevia, but you get used to not needing the sugar when you take it away. And thank you for not putting sugar. I mean, I knew you wouldn't put sugar.
For sure.
So you mentioned organic.
Yes.
And if you can talk about kind of the personal benefits, the environmental benefits of organic, why you decided that was important for your product.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to create a clean product that I would feel good about putting in my own body, and that I know that more and more people are becoming more conscious and aware of farming practices that are harming not just the environment, but harming your body. And so I wanted to try and use as many organic ingredients as I can. And I've been able to source all organic spices. My tea, however, is not organic. And that's something that I'm continuing to work on, to try and find a product that I feel good about, that has the proper flavor profile as the one that I'm using. But all of our spices are organic.
Awesome. Yeah, this week on social media, I'm just generally making a plea for everyone to pay attention to toxicity in our environment. There's no way we can get away from the toxic world, but there are things that we can do in our own space to reduce our own risk. And organic products not only reduce our own toxic load, but then you're supporting the farmer that grew this, and supporting a positive environment around that farm, where the people around it are less likely to be exposed to toxins. I mean, it travels far and wide. The glyphosate in Roundup and the pesticides, so I'll just share real quick that we label type 3 Alzheimer's as the toxic Alzheimer's. This is Dr. Dale Bredesen's kind of breakdown of different types of Alzheimer's. And toxic Alzheimer's is the hardest to treat, but we start developing brain changes 20 years before symptoms appear. So it's important that we are minimizing toxins as much as possible, from birth on. And so I really appreciate that that's a focus. So I know it's probably not easy to get all those spices organic. So I appreciate that you've made the effort.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we talked about physical wellness and emotional wellness. And if we can continue down that wellness road, I think that there's other things that you're focusing on as we're kind of moving into environmental wellness with the organic. There's other areas of focus that that were important to you when you're creating your company. Can you share kind of your social responsibility side as well?
Yeah, sure. So I am using, I'm trying to minimize the packaging. And so, for example, my boxes that I'm using for packaging are stamped stamped with our logo instead of using a sticker, for example. I'm using the filler I'm using is not bubble wrap, but it's recyclable craft paper. Um, the actual tin that I'm using is reusable, and it's also recyclable. So, and then it comes with a little wooden spoon that is obviously reusable and also recyclable. So I'm really trying to use less packaging.
So cute.
And
I just have
there
to.
it is.
It is little spoon. I love it. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's actually it's made out of bamboo, so so that's makes it, I feel like it's a little bit better.
Right.
So yeah, so those things are really important to me. And then something that has been absolutely one of the biggest reasons also that I wanted to start this business was because I wanted to be able to contribute back to the community. And so there's an organization that's really near and dear to my heart called the Equal Justice Initiative. And they work with incarcerated individuals, primarily people who are on death row and in the South here. And they help a lot of the people who are on death row, who are facing who are have not did not receive fair trials. And that's it's a historical fact in this country. And they are primarily African Americans who have gone through the justice system without justice. And so they work very hard to go back and ensure that they received a fair trial or receive a fair trial, and work to get them off of death row. So that's an organization that I care deeply about. And then supporting UNICEF, which provides clean water, food to children around the world, and educational opportunities. So those are the two organizations, along with the International Rescue Committee, that I'm supporting through our profits.
That's awesome. So what percentage of the profits go to these organizations?
10%.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no, it's very important. Yeah, and this is just a side note that anyone's able to do this also through their purchases on Amazon, for example. I don't know if you're familiar with Amazon has this Amazon Smile. And so you can select any nonprofit organization that you care about, and percentages of your sales or your purchases will go towards that organization. And like we talked about, all of these micro habits, all of these micro amounts that people give add up exponentially. And so if there's a takeaway from our conversation today, it's that small things make a big impact.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to add in regard to the health benefits of chai? Did we cover everything?
Yeah, well, we didn't actually talk about the black tea. And so, I forgot that black tea has been studied, obviously. And so it's got a lot of benefits to it. And the thing about tea is that it has on average about 47 milligrams of caffeine, as opposed to a cup of coffee, an 8-ounce cup of coffee, which has about 90 milligrams of caffeine. So those are sort of rough estimates, but black tea has basically half of the caffeine that a cup of coffee might have. And so So it's a gentler on your stomach. It's still high in antioxidants. And to me, I think it's just easier on your body to be able to handle that level of caffeine um, than a cup of coffee. So we're also at some point we're going to be introducing a caffeine-free version of our chai, and that will be a chai that doesn't have any black tea in it. So I'm excited to launch that soon for people who prefer not to have caffeine.
Right. Awesome. So this is Heart Month, kind of refocused on the heart.
Yeah.
And of course, the spices and the tea are heart healthy. This is good for our heart, but there's something else that we want to highlight tonight, right? So the heirloom chai was the first one that came out.
Yes.
Have a new one that's focused on February and the heart.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this new one?
So I'm so embarrassed. I don't even have a tin with me, but I just introduced last week Love Chai, which is a blend of our masalas that we talked about, all of the spices, along with organic roses. And we amped up the cardamom as well. So it's a blend of roses and cardamom and the masalas along with the tea. So it's got less of a kick than our heirloom, but has a beautiful floral flavor profile. And I don't know if you're aware, but edible roses have a lot of health benefits to them. They aren't just beautiful to smell, but they are really powerhouses for fighting free radicals in our body. They have a lot of phytonutrients, antioxidants, and so they're not just beautiful, but they are extremely healthy for you too. So I'm so excited to launch that.
Awesome. No, I did not know the health benefits of roses.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so that'll be next on my list as well, to get some Love Chai, it's called.
Love chai. And fun fact, it's of course also an aphrodisiac. So, it's good all around.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned that there's a decaffeinated or caffeine-free chai coming down the road.
Yes.
So is there anything else you want to share with us? I don't know what your personal future plans are, or future plans of chai.com. What are you looking forward to?
So I am looking forward to introducing new flavor profiles and just helping people sort of enjoy time for themselves, like we had mentioned, but also I'm excited to see how people creatively use our chai. So I've had people reach out to me recently, someone who's a chef who's so excited to create all of these different recipes using our chai. And so I'm kind of excited to see how people use it.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it would be really good in like dessert. Not
Yes.
With no sugar. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But I am adding recipes. So my sister just made this amazing almond and whole wheat flour muffins using the masala chai, and they were delicious. So so I'm adding recipes on our blog, on our website as we go.
Cool. Awesome. So how can people find you? How can they learn about you, follow you?
Yeah. So our website is chai.com, and our social handle is at Chai Made Easy, and we're on Facebook and on Instagram. And at some point, if I can get my act together, we might be on TikTok, but that scares me. So we'll see about that.
Oh, 2 is good for now. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very scary to me. So.
Well, anything else that I forgot that you want to touch on before we call it?
Yeah, no, I I think we kind of covered it. I just thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my story. I'm just so appreciative of that, and of course, your friendship means the world to me. So I'm excited for the things that you're doing with Wellness Wednesday, and I'm excited about your professional trajectory too, and all the healing you're providing for people as well. So thank you.
Thank you. So wonderful to connect. Thank you. Good night,
Thanks.
everybody.